sorry I'm late.
You're here.
Yeah.
You proposed to me last night.
I know, and you accepted? Honey, can we sit down, get a drink?
Okay, but they don't serve liquor here.
Perhaps you're too young for me. Or too old.
Hey, what are you thinking about?
Huh?
What are you thinking about?
My maiden aunt's in Brooklyn.
Well, I guess I can walk home.
Oh, you'll love them. You'll love them.
Really?
In this... This world of noise and neon, they are old late. They're peace, they're resting. When they want music, they sing a hymn.
My God, to thee.
I'm going to take you to meet them tomorrow.
Hello, Dr. Harper.
Miss Abby, as you see, my arms are full of wearable clothing. More testimonials to you and your sister's generosity. You just can't bear to see anybody or anything suffer, can you?
No, we can't. Can you?
You make me proud to live in Brooklyn.
That's a very nice thing to say, thank you.
Incidentally, how's that nephew of yours? Is he still making his living out of crime, vulgarity, and violence?
Mortimer's still a TV critic, yes.
I suppose someone has to do those things.
It isn't as if he ever liked anything. Hello, dear. Hello, dear. I just saw Dr. Harper. He seemed very pleased with all the things. Oh, how pretty. Did you just have tea? Isn't it a bit late? Yes. And dinner's going to be a little late, too. There's a little service we have to have first. Methodist this time. While I was out, yes. You see, I just couldn't wait for you because I didn't know when you'd be back. And I knew Dr. Harper was coming by any moment. But all by yourself? Oh, I got on fine. I'll run downstairs and see. Not in the cellar. Somewhere else. Yes. You know you're not supposed to do any heavy lifting. Oh, I was very careful. Somewhere else. In the window seat. Oh, my. Mortimer's arriving. Oh, but it isn't Sunday. Do you suppose something bad's happened to television? Isn't this nice?
Hello, Aunt Martha. Hello, Aunt Martha. Hello, Aunt Martha. Aunt Abby? Oh, I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
Why, what could you be interrupting? Oh, my. Mortimer, dear, you're not going off to war or anything, are you?
I was thinking about you, too. Telling Elaine about you on the drive over. How you two were always there, whenever I needed. Aunt Martha, Aunt Abby, you're not losing a nephew, you're gaining a niece. I'm going to get married.
Oh, Mortimer! Huh? He's going to what? Get married! Oh, Mortimer! How wonderful! Oh, to whom, dear?
Her name's Elaine Dodd. Come here. Brought her over in the car. I want you to stand right there. Okay. Is she pretty?
She is. Oh, dear. That makes it very nice, doesn't it?
This is Elaine.
Isn't she lovely? We're so happy for Mortimer, dear.
My brother Teddy, the one I told you thinks she's Theodore Roosevelt.
When Cardinal Gibbons comes, put him in the Lincoln Room.
Yes, Mr. President.
Hello, Teddy. How are you?
Hello, Mortimer.
This is Mortimer's fiancée. Her name is Elaine Dodd, Teddy.
Delighted.
How do you do? I guess Mortimer's told you about Teddy.
Yes, he did, but I never understood. Why Theodore Roosevelt?
Well, if you want to be president and still have some fun, who else is there?
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
Good news, Teddy. You can go downstairs to Panama tonight and dig another lock in the canal.
Delighted. Bully, just bully. I'll prepare for the journey at once.
The stairs are always San Juan Hill to Teddy. You know, the Spanish-American War. Welcome to the family, dear.
Would you mind if I just hugged you both?
Oh, this is a just wonderful day.
Mortimer told me all about how you sat up with his sick hamster all night when he was 5.
Oh.
And your Aunt Abby. Oh. He told me about how you helped him hide when they were going to pull out his baby tooth. And how it finally just fell out on its own.
Nature takes care of everything if you let it.
They hid me in the window seat over there. Oh, by the way, I brought along a bottle of wine, just suitable for toasting.
Oh.
You stay with your aunts. I'll get it.
Oh. Is she pretty? I guess I said that. Isn't it nice the way she looks?
We like everything about her, dear. And how happy she must be marrying you.
Be sure to tell her that.
Oh, that's the back door. Oh, I'm sure it's that nice Mr. Klein for the old toys we collect. I'll get it. We're very, very pleased, Mortimer. When will you be married?
In exactly 3 days and 1 minute. That's as early as we legally can.
So soon? You only just got engaged. That hardly gives us time to bake a cake.
We can always eat cake. It reminds me. Honey, bring in our engagement picture.
Oh, good.
And Abby, do you still have that album of baby pictures of me?
It's around somewhere, dear, there.
Elaine is a nut for children.
I hope you have a big family, Mortimer.
Yeah, that's what she says, but I don't know when we'll have time.
Does it take so long?
No, she's a regular on a new TV series. Keep her pretty busy, called Homicide.
Oh, I should be in there helping with the toys. Mortimer, dear, you and Elaine are going to stay here and have some dinner with us, won't you, please?
We can't. On our way to a TV panel show. I'm moderator.
We'll watch it then.
Don't bother. It's another one of those talk sessions about excessive violence on television. Too much murder in the living room sort of thing. Hardening the sensibilities of today's young people so that no amount of violence will shock them, no matter how many corpses.
Honey? Oh, Mortimer, I love your aunts. And I love this house. I even love Teddy. You know, when you first told me about him, he just sounded a little scary, but, well, when you meet him, he wouldn't hurt a fly, would he?
Maybe a fly.
Oh, but he is harmless. Isn't that what the doctors told you, Mortimer? Mortimer?
Need a drink? Get the wine out. Need a drink?
Some kid is gonna love this.
All right, this whole ring is under arrest.
The two ladies don't know anything about it.
This is our nephew, Mortimer.
Pleased to make your acquaintance.
We're just picking up some used toys your ads have collected for poor kids.
Oh.
Where's Elaine, Mortimer?
Who?
Oh, dear, you are funny today, witty and all. Elaine?
I'm here.
Oh, we'll be right there, dear. Would you officers like a cup of tea?
No, thanks. We have to go. No, we have to go. Please, we gotta go. Come on.
Get rid of the fuzz. The cops, get rid of them. I can't explain now, but something terrible has happened. We've got to have Teddy committed to Happydale Sanitarium.
Well, what is it? He's talking about sending Teddy away.
Look, I know we've always loved Teddy, and we've always thought he was harmless, but he just...
Teddy is harmless.
Get rid of those cops. We'll discuss it later.
Mortimer, have you been peeking in the window seat?
You know what's in the window seat?
Yes, dear, but it has nothing to do with Teddy. Oh, we should go in and look after our guests. What will Elaine think? Now, you just forget all that you saw. Now, just forget all about the old gentleman, dear.
It's all a joke. It's April Fool's Day. There's nothing in the window seat.
There's a dead gentleman in the window seat. His name is Hoskins. He's a Methodist. He came about renting our spare room.
All right, please, just tell me what happened to him.
He died.
Aunt Abby, darling, men just don't get into window seats and die.
Oh, no. He died first.
Well, how? There was an accident?
Oh, excuse me.
Just a minute. Oh, you'll be right there, officer.
Okay.
No, Mortimer, there was no accident. The gentleman died because he drank wine with poison in it.
How'd the poison get in the wine?
We put it in wine because it's less noticeable. When it's in tea, it has a distinct odor.
You put it in the wine?
You remember all the bottles in Grandfather's laboratory? I take 1 teaspoonful of arsenic to each gallon of wine, add a half teaspoonful of strychnine, and just a pinch of cyanide. Abby's old recipe. And you know how everyone's always liked her piccalilli.
You put it in the wine?
And I hid Mr. Hoskins in the window seat because I knew the Reverend Harper was coming and I didn't want to spoil his tea. Now, don't you say anything about it to Elaine. We have a right to our little secrets. Oh, Martha, I ran in on Mrs. Schultz while I was out. She's much better, but she'd love us to take Junior to the movies again. Oh, all right. I hope he doesn't want to go to another of those scary pictures.
Engagement party going on. The only thing missing is the groom. Oh, Morty, you know I stop when you're not there. It's like a clock.
Entertainment desk, please. Al? Al, do you know who this is? Yeah. Say, Al, when I left the office today, I told you where I was going, remember? Where'd I say I was going? That's what I said, huh? Then that's where I must be. Thank you, Al.
Morty? It's just like kissing a corpse.
Corpse? Where?
Hello.
Honey, You don't want to know any more than you have to, but do you trust me enough to do whatever I ask without any questions?
Without any questions?
Without any questions, without one question.
Wow.
Look, my two darling aunts to whom I owe everything, I just can't let them go through.
Yes?
Look, somehow get those two cops out of this house. Take my car, drop them somewhere with their playthings. I've got to be alone with my aunts.
But, Morty, the panel show, it starts...
I'll take care of the panel show. You take care of the cops, please. After you do that, drive over to my place. Now, here's the key. In my file, there is a folder on Teddy. Doctor reports, medical insurance, the whole thing. Bring that to me. Please just do it.
Okay, anything you say.
Good.
Here comes the bride, all dressed and right.
To Elaine and Mortimer Brewster, happiness.
Congratulations.
How sweet.
Say, you're not Mortimer Brewster, the television critic. You're not that Mortimer Brewster.
Oh, yes, he is.
You are. He is. Listen, Mr. Brewster, what's happening to American television?
Well, officer, it's just kind of milling around. Have you met Elaine Dodd, the star of the new series Homicide?
You're not that Elaine Dodd.
Can I give you two a ride back to the station with all your things?
Oh, not a bad idea. They don't like us pounding a beat with these yo-yos.
Listen, Mr. Brewster, I have a terrific idea for a television series. As a matter of fact, Miss Dodd here would be wonderful as a leading regular. I have a 10-page outline.
I do all of Mr. Brewster's reading for him.
Oh, you do? Well, I could give you a copy to read. I have one in my locker.
That'd be just fine.
Fine?
Shall we go, Officer Klein?
Yeah.
This... What a marvelous family.
What a great house. It's a nice house. Temporary White House will be in Panama until further notice. Another one of the nephews.
My name's Roosevelt. What's your name?
My name's Klein, Mr. Roosevelt.
Carry on, Klein.
Thank you.
He's not that Roosevelt.
No, he's harmless. Unlike the third Brewster boy,
There's a third brother.
Jonathan Brewster. He used to practice surgery right here in this house.
Oh, a doctor.
No, that's why we had to run him out of town. Thanks, and congratulations again, Mr. Brewster. Mr. Brewster.
I just want to say how much I admire your steadfast devotion to what's best in television.
Yeah,
I
thank
think
you,
it's
officer.
best in this
Yeah.
day and age to have that freedom.
Sure.
And one, Miss Dodd, I think you're a terrific actress. And you have wonderful shoulders. They're very nice.
All right, now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
What are you going to do about what, dear?
About that body out there. Look, I can't turn you over to the police to have you face interrogation and the courts to say nothing of... What are we going to do?
Well, for one thing, stop being so excited. Yes, that's right. For pity's sake, no more worrying. We told you to forget the whole thing.
Forget? My darling Aunt Abby, can't I make you see that something has to be done?
Now, Mortimer, behave yourself. You're too old to be flying off the handle like this. Everything's being taken care of. In a little while, Teddy will come up and we'll bury Mr. Hoskins in the cellar and have a nice service for him.
You can't bury Mr. Hoskins in the cellar.
Why not? That's what we did with the others.
Others?
The other gentlemen.
When you say others, do you mean others? More than one others?
Now, let me see. Mr. Hoskins is the 11th. Isn't he, Abby? No, dear, he makes 12. Oh, I think you're wrong, Abby. 11. No, I'm sure it's 12, dear.
Hello.
Oh, Mortimer, that's the front doorbell.
Come in.
Mortimer, would you like a nice cup of hot tea? That's the telephone you're speaking into.
Sorry.
Mortimer knows we never lock our front door. The life he's leading is making him very distrustful.
I come about that. Is the room still vacant?
Yes, it is. Come in out of the cold.
My name is Gibbs. Is it a quiet room? I like it quiet.
Yes, it is. I'm Miss Brewster, and this is my sister, another Miss Brewster.
Get another moderator. It's something a kid could do. Get Joe Pine.
Brooklyn, you're home.
Haven't got any home. Live in hotels. Don't like it.
Are your family Brooklyn people?
Haven't got any family.
All alone in the world?
Yep.
Won't you sit down, Mr. Gibbs?
Just want to see the room. May have to go on looking.
No. I'm sure you've come to the right house. I'm sure you're through looking. Aren't you, Martha?
Oh, yes, I'm sure. And I'll be right back with something nice for you, Mr. Gibbs.
Like what?
Something that's sure to stop that cough.
Look, I just can't. That's all. It's for a personal reason. Yes, I'm concerned with crime in the streets and violence in our times, but I can't make the panel tonight. What's the name of the lawyer we always use, Blenner or something?
Benner, dear. James E. Benner. He lives right around the corner on Orange Street.
Information, please.
What church do you go to?
Presbyterian. Used to be.
Well, what have we here?
Won't you try some of our wine before we show you the room?
Wine is what you think will stop my cough? Won't. Don't much like wine.
But we make this ourselves. It's elderberry wine.
From our own elderberry bushes.
Organically grown elderberry bushes.
That's all? No, it might start the heartburn again.
I can almost promise you it won't. All right. No cough has ever withstood our elderberry wine. Has it, Martha?
No, never.
Do you serve meals?
Well, we might, but first see whether you like our wine. Mortimer? Mortimer, not that.
Who? Can't you two get it through your heads? There is no such thing as a little white murder.
Murder.
You just don't think you've done anything wrong, do you? Let alone 12 wrongs.
Our thoughts were all for those poor gentlemen, and it's the thought that counts.
Abby, I don't think we should have told Mortimer.
We don't try to stop you from doing things you like to do, Mortimer. I don't think that you ought to interfere with us. After all, we've done this 11 or 12 times now, and we've never had a bit of trouble.
We can't decide whether we should count the first one or not.
All right. Let's begin at the beginning. Why not count number 1?
His name was Midgley. He was a Baptist, and he came looking for a room.
And all his kith and kin were dead. And it left him so forlorn and unhappy.
It was right after you moved to New York.
He was such a lonely old man. We felt so sorry for him.
And then when his heart attack came, and he sat dead in that chair, looking so peaceful. Do you remember, Martha? We made up our minds then and there that if we could help other lonely old men to that same peace, we would.
Drop dead right in that chair. How awful for you.
Oh, no. He looked so relieved. And then you see, Teddy was digging down in Panama, and he thought he was a yellow fever victim.
That meant he had to be buried immediately.
So we all took him down and put him in the lock. Now, that's why we told you not to worry, because we know exactly what's to be done.
And this whole thing began just by that man coming in and dropping dead.
Of course, we realized we couldn't depend on that happening again.
So, naturally, you took events into your own hands. Look, you two, I'm going to leave now to do what I can to save you from police, prison, courts. But on one condition. You have to stop killing people, no matter how deserving. Is that clear?
I just have to say one thing, though, Mortimer. You've become a regular Mr. Spoilsport.
There he goes. The little prince. The favored sibling. My brother, the critic.
Can't we go in? I'm cold and I'm hungry.
And you want a drink. And so Jonathan Brewster re-enters the home of his youth. As a boy, I couldn't wait to escape. As a man, I'm glad to escape back into it.
It looks like a very good hideout. You were right, Jonathan.
Huh?
Hi, Mr. Brenner. Glad you could come.
Why couldn't you have come over to my house or me to yours?
You've got to keep this secret. Listen, if someone commits a crime and someone else is blamed for it, and that someone else is legally insane, they'll go free, won't they? The party of the first part, even if they did it, if they promise not to do it again.
I'm a family lawyer, not a criminal's mouthpiece.
I can confide in you, can't I? Privileged communication?
Nobody may conspire to defeat the law. I'm cold.
You handle Aunt Martha and Aunt Abby, don't you?
Oh, of course, I'd do anything for them. But I'm not getting involved in crime or in whatever collusion you were mumbling about. Oh, thank you.
Aunt Abby and Aunt Martha and I would like you to draw up the commitment papers for Teddy to go to that nice private sanitarium we discussed with you.
Happy Day. Best croquet green in America. Color TV in every room. Cordon bleu chef. I'll put the wheels in motion for poor Teddy to go to Happy Day.
Poor Teddy has to go right away.
Why?
Because he's blowing his bugle at night.
He's been blowing his bugle at night for years. Mortimer, how are you feeling?
In all the time you've known me, have I ever seemed unstable?
You get awful mad in some of your articles I've read.
Of course I do, with the pap that's being fed the American public. Except for my articles.
Except for your articles? Yes, you always seem to be as solid as, well, yes, as solid as Abby and Martha themselves.
You're very kind.
Not at all. How are they? Still fighting their own marvelous battle against human suffering?
Hammer and tong. In fact, they've been overdoing it. I have to talk to them.
Oh, you do that. A lot of heart trouble around.
You'll draw up the commitment papers tonight?
I don't work after 5 unless it's an emergency.
There's an emergency.
To me, an emergency means life and death.
There's an emergency.
Well, we'll have to find a doctor to sign the papers. And Teddy must sign them, too. It must be a voluntary commitment to be performed swiftly. Well, shall we go see if old Dr. Gordon will do it?
I'd better get back to the house. Aunt Abby and Aunt Martha are all alone.
Nobody in this neighborhood would harm the Brewster girls.
I know, but I'd better get back.
You're next of kin. If you want commitment papers by tonight, you better come with me. Hmm?
they doing?
They seem to be preparing for church. They're sort of religious maniacs.
Dear, bring my hymnal.
Oh, yes, dear. I think we'll sing Rock of Ages. He was a Methodist.
You know, dear, it's really my turn to read the services, but since Mr. Hoskins was all yours, I want you to do it.
Oh, that's very nice of you, dear. But are you sure you want me to?
I'm sure.
Has Teddy brought Mr. Hoskins down to Panama yet?
Oh, no, dear. He's just finishing digging the canal.
Oh.
But we can get the flowers ready and everything. Teddy, how's the lot coming?
They seem to be going into the cellar. They are. Now's our chance.
Why couldn't we have just rung the bell?
Because we might have been refused admittance. I'm not universally loved.
I have never seen so much hackable stuff.
Of course. Of course. Grandfather made over $1 million.
How?
Grandfather Brewster invented and manufactured the very finest insecticides and rat poisons.
Look, Jonathan, drinks.
As though we were expected. A good omen.
I heard footsteps. Who are you? What are you doing here?
Why, Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, it's Jonathan.
You get out of here.
I'm Jonathan. Your nephew, Jonathan.
No, you're not. You're nothing like Jonathan. So you just get out of here.
But I am Jonathan. And this is Dr. Salk.
And he's not Dr. Salk either.
Not Dr. Jonas Salk, the healer. Dr. Herman Salk, the...
Jonathan?
Who are you? You're not our nephew, Jonathan.
I see you're still wearing the lovely garnet ring that Grandma Brewster bought in England. And you, Aunt Martha, still the high collar to hide the scar where Grandfather's acid burned you.
Is his voice like Jonathan's?
Well, have you been in an accident?
No. My face, you mean? Dr. Salk is responsible for that. He's a plastic surgeon. He changes people's faces.
I've seen him before, Abby. You remember that scary movie on the Late Late Show when I was so frightened? It was that face.
I saw that same old movie. In fact, I was watching it just before I was intoxicated.
You see, Doctor, you see what you've done
Jonathan.
to me. Even my own family doesn't know.
Jonathan, you're home. Soon, very soon, you'll have a whole new face suitable for customs inspection. You know it's Jonathan. Speak to him. Tell him so.
Well, Jonathan, it's been a long time. What are you doing here?
We were just passing through. And as Dr. Salk said, I told him so much about you.
Nobody passes through Brooklyn. Where would you be passing through to?
Kennedy International Airport.
Well, it's very nice to have seen you, Jonathan.
Bless you, Aunt Martha. It's good to be home again.
Martha, we mustn't let what's on the stove boil over.
No. If you'll excuse us, Jonathan, just a minute. Unless, of course, you're in a hurry to go somewhere.
They're not going to let us stay. Where do we go now? Us with a hot stiff in the car.
Forget Mr. Spinell.
You can't leave a dead body in the trunk. You shouldn't have killed him. He's a nice fellow. He gives us a lift. And what happens?
He said I look like Frankenstein's monster. That's your work, Doctor. You did this to me.
Jonathan, I am going to fix you up fine. And very soon now, you're going to look just like Ronald Reagan. Hold still. One of the stitches. Here. Here. Hold still now.
He's sitting right on top of Mr. Hoskins. I wish they'd go away so we could take the poor gentleman down to Panama where he belongs.
Patience, dear. They're not the kind that stays in Brooklyn.
The lock is finished.
Teddy. It's just my brother, Teddy.
I'm President Theodore Roosevelt. Who are you?
I'm Woodrow Wilson.
No, you're not. I don't meet Woody for several years yet. But you do look like someone I might meet on my safari to Africa. There's something jungly about you.
Thank you very much. Come and meet my friend, Mr. President. He's a doctor.
Oh, has he come about the yellow fever? Could it be... Is it Dr. Walter Reed who will save the world from yellow fever? It is. Doctor, you've arrived. Delighted, Doctor. Delighted. We must get right to work. The mortality rate is rising. The poor devils are dying like flies. We must find out how the disease is contracted.
It's carried by mosquitoes.
That hasn't been discovered yet. But it soon will be. Quick, Doctor. To the tropics. Hurry.
Jonathan, please.
Quick, Dr. Reed, quick.
Well, bon voyage. Jonathan, what do you think I found in the cellar?
One very elderly furnace.
Yes. Also, the Panama Canal.
What?
The Panama Canal. It's a hole Teddy dug. 6 feet long by 4 feet wide. What do you think it would fit just perfect?
6. Mr. Spinalza. Down there.
You would think they knew we were bringing him along. That's hospitality.
Quite a joke on the old girls. Imagine, my aunts with a corpse in the cellar. that Ann Landers says about May-December marriages.
Teddy must be back from his walk.
How's that for a nice brisk walk, fellers? Moves the blood, eh? Delightful.
Who is he talking to?
Just his Secret Service men.
There's a horseless carriage parked out front right in the tow-away zone. The police will be coming for it soon. Bully for them. Discipline. Firmness. America's getting flabby.
We can't let them tow the car away with Mr. Spinoza in the trunk. Can't you make those old ladies go to bed? We've got work to do.
I'll sing them a lullaby.
Wonderful stuff, milk. Brings the Sandman.
But before you go to bed, Teddy, there's a little work to be done. There's another yellow fever victim to be taken down to Panama. A secret victim.
Secret?
Yes.
As soon as they're out of the way, I'll turn the lights off in here. Then, you bring Mr. Spinalzo in through the window. Wait in the car until then.
You make it as quick as you can. Jonathan, please. And you come and help me.
Afraid of ghosts?
Oh, not exactly. It's just that, I don't know, there are emanations from dead bodies. I can sense corpses. As a matter of fact.
Superstitious poppycock. Now get out of the car.
Now, where is the victim?
Shh. Remember, it's a secret victim and must be secretly buried. Promise?
You have the word of the President of the United States. Cross my heart, hope to die. Now, how are we going to keep it a secret?
I thought of that. Teddy, you wait down in the cellar, and when we turn off the living room lights, you come up and take the poor man down to Panama. Oh, we simply must make those two go to bed.
Now, where did you say the victim is?
He's in the window seat.
Oh, that's the first we've had in that neighborhood. No wonder secrecy is so important. We must avoid panic.
Well, still up.
Yes. It's very late. Almost 8.
I must make a quick inspection trip through certain installations.
Now, let's all get some shut-eye, shall we?
Well, you go to bed, and we'll...
No. I want to think of my two aunties, safe in their little beds upstairs. What was it we always used to say? Sleep tight and don't let the bedbugs bite. Something like that.
Are you coming up with us, Jonathan?
In a short while. Run along, aunties, huh?
I remember what it was. Sweet dreams, and don't let the boogeyman get you.
out of there, idiot. Ready or not, here comes Mr. Spinalzo.
Not yet. Wait a minute.
Take him to the cellar. Stop dancing with him.
We stop dancing.
Help me up and then I'll help you.
I'm trying to find his other shoe.
I'll go get something to stand on.
Jonathan, somebody is...
And Abby. And Martha. Hello? Is anybody there?
Who is she?
I don't know. She fainted for some reason. Many girls her age are anemic.
Do you suppose she saw Mr. Spinell? Who are you? What are you doing here? Speak up, you hear me? Speak up!
Jonathan!
My name is Lane Dodd, really. Who are you?
You'd better explain what you're doing here.
Mortimer Brewster and Iron Gish. Where is he? Were you two prowling around outside the house?
That's a very interesting question. What did you see?
Well, as I came down that one-way street over there, just before I turned, I happened to look this way.
You looked this way?
For the house. I thought I saw, but I guess it was just you two. But who are you?
That's Dr. Salk.
No relation.
Dr. Salk is a surgeon. And also something of a magician.
You haven't said who you are.
I'm Jonathan Brewster.
You're Morty's brother. Well, how do you do?
You don't seem like the type of girl my brother would be engaged to.
Really? What's his type?
Well, as I remember it, he always liked girls with pigtails he could pull.
This is a private funeral.
Daddy, tell those men who I am.
Well, of course. She's my daughter, Alice.
Now tell us exactly what you saw when you looked toward the house.
Just what I said. I saw you two and you were carrying something big and heavy. It was like a suitcase. Why, what is this?
There have been a lot of robberies in this neighborhood.
Crime everywhere. Everywhere crime.
What's the matter? Jonathan, what are you doing to Elaine?
Oh, Morty, where have you been? Those two men, they said I was some kind of a burglar.
Who said you were a burglar? Those burglars?
That's your brother, Jonathan, dear. And that's Dr. Herman Salk.
I've come back home, Mortimer.
Who'd you say this was?
It's your brother, Jonathan, dear. He's had his face changed. Dr. Salk performed the operation.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you were always a horror, but do you have to look like one?
Easy, Jonathan, easy.
Mortimer, have you forgotten the things I used to do to you when we were boys? Remember the needles under your fingernails?
This is Jonathan. Yes, I remember you as the most detestable, vicious...
Now, you two boys mustn't start quarreling the minute you see each other again. We've invited them to stay the night, Mortimer.
Where are they going to sleep?
We put them in your old room.
I'm sleeping there. I'm here to stay.
Oh, Morty!
I'm sorry, honey. I've got to do it. Where's Teddy? I have to see him right away.
He went up to his room, dear.
Some papers for him to sign. Jonathan, there's no place for you to sleep.
Jonathan? No? Window seat looks comfortable. We could sleep down there.
Oh, yes. Yes, of course. The window seat.
The window seat? The window seat? No, let's not argue about it. I'll sleep on the window seat.
No.
Yes.
Abby, why don't I move in with you so Mortimer could have my room?
The window seat for me, please. I haven't had any dinner.
Oh, well, I'll make us all some cocoa and sandwiches.
Morty, we're engaged, honey, and you don't even talk to me anymore.
Come on, the engaged couple deserves a chance to be alone. Cocoa for everyone.
Thank you, Aunt Abby. Then you two come in. We haven't finished celebrating your engagement. And we found a bottle of fine old wine.
That's nice. No wine! No wine for anybody in this house.
What have you got against wine all of a sudden? Now, here are your papers for Teddy.
Oh, yeah. Teddy, Mr. President, Secretary of the Navy is here with urgent dispatches.
Morty, what's going on?
What do you mean, what's going on?
What is all this stuff with Teddy tonight? Morty, do you love me?
Yes, Elaine, I love you. I love you so much that...
So much the what?
No, please, Teddy. No bugling tonight.
What? The Secretary of the Navy is coming to tell me the Spaniards have surrendered.
No, Teddy, he wants your signature on these papers. And quiet. He's gonna love Happy Dale. I mean, where else can he talk with another Teddy Roosevelt, Napoleon, and Charles de Gaulle? All at the same time. He'll love it. Love it.
Mortimer, a minute ago you said, Elaine, I love you very much. I love you so much. So much the what, Morty?
Elaine, I love you so much that I can't marry you.
Have you suddenly gone crazy?
I don't think so. But it's only a matter of time. Now, look, Elaine, you said you love me. You want children, and with my heredity...
Oh, Mortimer, not just because Teddy's a little Jonathan. But now look at your aunts. Two saner, sweeter women I've never known.
Even they have their small peculiarities?
Oh, sure, like kindness and generosity and sympathy. Why, you can't look into those two faces and tell me that you've ever known two more wonderful, sweeter women in the whole world. What's the matter, Mortimer? Say something.
Escalation.
What?
Honey, you gotta get out of here right now. Something very important has just come up.
Come up from where, Morty? We're here all alone.
Oh, if that were only true. Please, you've got to work hard, you've got to change agents regularly, and you've got to forget the Mad Brewsters.
You don't love me anymore.
Oh, please, Elaine, take my car. Get the hell out of here.
You critic!
Aunt Abby, may I see you a minute, please?
Mr. Hoskins has had his services and is happily buried.
You know very well I am not talking about Mr. Hoskins.
Who can that be?
You need to tell me you've never seen this corpse before?
Well, I certainly do. Well, this is a fine how do you do. We'll have to start locking our front door. This is a rank imposter.
That's another one of your gentlemen, Aunt Abby. You already admitted you have 12 in the basement. You're poisoned.
Yes, I did, but you don't think I'd stoop to telling a fib. Martha, come in here and see something very odd.
Mortimer, I'd like to have a word with you.
A word is about all you're going to have time for, Jonathan, because I've decided you and your doctor friend are going to get out of this house just as quickly as possible.
My dear Mortimer, just because you're writing on a typewriter instead of on the back of a fence, don't think you've grown up. I'm staying, and you're leaving, and I mean now.
Now, you just take a look at what's in that window seat.
First, Aunt Abby, let me say I'm sorry for thinking that you fibbed. Second, let me bid an unfond farewell to you, Jonathan, your doctor friend, and your colder friend in there. All three of you out.
Are you giving me orders after seeing what's happened to Mr. Spinalzo? The same thing could happen to you, you know.
Oh, the front doorbell. Oh, is that nice young policeman, the new one?
I'm increasingly impressed with the new breed of New York policemen, aren't you, Jonathan, Dr. Salk?
Listen, Mr. Brewster, did Miss Dodd tell you my idea about you and I collaborating on a series? Well, there's no harm in asking, I always say.
Oh, it's a splendid thought. I'd like to introduce you to my brother Jonathan, Dr. Salk.
Oh, pleased to make your acquaintance. Must be nice having your nephews visiting. Are they going to stay a while?
I'm staying. My brother and the doctor are going to take a friend out.
Well, that's great. What do you say we get started?
It's a good idea. Why don't you sit on the window seat and tell me your format?
Well, any place you say.
Aunt Martha, why don't you give the officer some of your nice cocoa in the kitchen? Then the doctor and I can pack our things without disturbing you.
Very intelligent, Jonathan.
I'll make us all some ham sandwiches.
We have a nice ham.
What a house.
I'm glad you came back because it gives me a chance to throw you out. Something I've always wanted to do. Goodbye to you two and Mr. Spinalzo.
Oh, Mr. Brewster. I didn't mean to startle anybody.
No.
I just wanted to ask Mr. Brewster about, approximately how much could we make creating a series, a piece?
Well, it all depends whether we have another Bewitched or Dundee in the Culhane.
Dundee?
All right, get going. All three of you.
I might have known you'd grow up to collaborate with a policeman.
Well, Spinalzo, back to the Edsel.
No. He's not going back into the Edsel. He's going right where we intended.
But your brother said with a cop right in the house.
We're in this house to stay. This time, I'll handle Spinalzo.
Well, it seems to be grabbing you. I mean, at least you don't look bored.
I'm not bored.
How do you like that? I'm not boring Mortimer Brewster.
I hope you don't mind eating in the kitchen, Mr. Sampson.
Now, where else would a Brooklyn playwright eat?
Did he fit in the hole okay?
Dr. Salk, I'm pleased to tell you that you and I have an ace in the hole.
Well?
I'll be right back.
Are you still liking it?
Great. Very funny.
Very funny? Very funny. What's funny about amnesia?
Jonathan!
Yes, Mortimer?
What are you doing here? I told you to get out.
We're not leaving. Now or ever.
Would you like me to tell that nice young policeman what you have hidden in the window seat?
Would you like us to tell that nice young policeman what you have hidden in the cellar?
What do I have hidden in the cellar?
An elderly gentleman who seems to be dead. I knew you gave bad reviews. But I never knew you went that far.
What were you doing in the cellar?
What's he doing in the cellar?
No, thank you, ladies. I've had plenty. Thank you.
Yeah, now, what are you going to tell this new breed of policemen?
Listen, Mr. Brewster. Perhaps if I read a sample script aloud, just
Not now, maybe later.
When?
Look, I've had some reflections about collaborating. I'm more the lone wolf type.
Yes, he is, isn't he?
But just a few minutes ago, where have I failed?
Look, some very important business has come up that I need to take care of. Aren't you taking an overly long coffee break?
No, the sergeant's my uncle. What kind of business, 10 o'clock in the evening?
I have to review a new series.
Oh, Mortimer, tonight? That's wonderful.
Listen, Mr. Brewster, I've never seen a critic reviewing. Could I possibly stay around and...
No! Would you go back to defending Brooklyn?
We'll get everything ready for you, Mortimer, all your equipment.
Equipment? What kind of equipment does a critic need?
I have to be bound and gagged in front of the set so that I don't bulge.
That's quite all right, Mr. Brewster. I understand. The in-group never welcomes a member of the out-group. Thank you very much for the cocoa, etc.
Oh, good night, Mr.
Good night.
Good night, Mr. Sanson.
Oh, Jonathan, Doctor, he likes to be alone when he reviews, so you go to bed, and we will too.
All right, Aunt Martha. We're going right up.
Look, you don't have to bother. I'm not really going to watch. I'm too nervous. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, Jonathan knows about Mr. Hoskins.
You watch, dear. Television is sometimes very calming.
Did you just hear what I said?
Jonathan knows. Yes, dear. We're not ashamed of it.
There's Mr. Benner. He said he was going to be here with the man from Happydale.
Now, you go in, dear, and you sit down and you watch. It'll make you forget all your troubles. That's what television is for.
Until today, television was my troubles.
You see, what I mean is, what is there on television today for adults to watch unless you and I step in?
Why don't you and I step out for a little walk? I'll be right up.
Now, isn't that funny about writers? I think much better when I'm walking also.
Look, I'll ditch this guy and be back in 5 minutes. We'll discuss the whole thing then.
Now, listen, here's what I mean about adult television. She lies over a barrel, her body clothed and yet visible through the slinky diaphanous out.
I finally got Mortimer Brewster where I've wanted him all my life. Oh, this is delicious. Delicious.
Jonathan, we've been discussing your friend, Mr. Spasalto.
Spinalzo.
Oh, Spinalzo. What do you plan to do with him?
He's in the cellar.
Aha! Just what we were afraid of. Well, he can't stay in our cellar.
But he's fine where he is. There's a friend of Mortimer's keeping him company.
A friend of Mortimer's?
I bet he means Mr. Hoskins.
Mr. Hoskins? You know about what's downstairs?
Of course we do, and it's no friend of Mortimer's. He's one of our gentlemen.
Your gentleman?
And we will not have strangers buried in our cellar. It's crowded enough already.
Crowded? With what?
There are 12 graves down there now.
You mean you and Aunt Martha have murdered?
Murdered? Oh, certainly not. It's one of our charities.
Why, what we do is a mercy.
Anyway, we will have to ask you to take Mr. Spinalzo away.
Excuse me, but sometimes I don't get things quite right. Did you say you did away with 12 men and buried them?
It may only have been 11.
Jonathan, the little ladies have done better than you.
I have 13.
No fair counting of the man who died by himself.
Would he have died if I hadn't locked him in the trunk of my old Rio for 3 days?
You cannot count the
That's enough, Doctor.
Jonathan, 12 and 12. The old ladies have done just as good as you and without even leaving the house.
So they have they? Well, that's easily taken care of. All I need is one more. Just one more.
Well, here I am.
The TV is ready for you, Mortimer.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, I suppose I may as well get started. Why don't you two go to bed?
Can't we get some sleep now and talk to Mortimer in the morning?
Sleep? With him sitting there all alone and exposed? The little prince himself? No, we're not going to sleep. Or talk to him either.
Listen to that music. Shostakovich out of Tiomkin by pretension.
We'll tuck ourselves in a minute.
We're looking for somebody here this time of night. Frenchman's my name. United States Public Health Service. Do you mind if we take a look at your suit?
At last, a critic is going to be of some use to an artist.
Please, no more corpses tonight.
Doctor, look at me.
I don't want to...
You can see it's going to be done, can't you?
Yes, I can see. I know that look, but the quick way, the quick twist, like in London.
No, I don't think so. I think this calls for something special. I think perhaps the Melbourne method.
Oh, no, not that. 2 hours. And when it was all over, what? The fellow in London was just as dead as the fellow in Melbourne.
But Melbourne, there was something to remember. Where are the instruments?
I won't do it. I won't do it.
Get your instruments. Where are they? Oh, yes, you hid them in the cellar. Where?
I won't tell you.
I'll find them, Doctor.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Why don't you go home? Why not watch television in your house?
I can't. I'm waiting for somebody. With you and your friends here, I'm staying. Why don't you two go?
Get out of here, Mr. Brewster.
Why should I?
With all the television crime shows, you would think they would teach you something.
Teach? Teach? Written by idiots, performed by grinning puppets, enjoyed by no one. Take this thing tonight. Look at this. See the big fellow there? He's the hero of the series. He's supposed to be bright. He's in a house full of murderers. Any fool would know he's in trouble. And what does he do? He sits there. Now, I ask you, Doctor, is that believable?
You're asking me?
Oh, now look. He's even inviting one of the murderers to sit down.
You mean, won't you sit down, dear murderer?
Well, he's nearly saying that.
Won't you sit down, sir?
Ha, sir, yet. Would you believe that? Sit down. Would you believe that?
It is extremely difficult to believe. I know. But I believe.
Oh, now look. He's supposed to be bright. Yet there he sits, just waiting to be trussed up. And with what? The oldest wheeze in drama. They're going to tie him up with the curtain cords.
It's narcotic.
Well, why not? Very convenient things. Curtain cords.
Too convenient if you ask me. No, I mean, really, would a murderer tie up somebody with curtain cords? That's where television writers just aren't in touch with reality. I mean, the curtain cords, it's a cliche. Everybody's done it. I mean, who would... Oh, well, it's ridiculous. It's a big bet.
Mr. Brewster? He is not very bright for a hero.
he should have gone. When he had the chance. And now we finish the story of the two brothers. The evil sibling. And the little prince. Your removal is going to give me a great deal of pleasure. And now that I know your aunts and I are in the same business, give me a free hand here in this glorious house. And now, Doctor, we go to work.
I got to have a drink. Can't do it without a drink. There was some wine here where we came in this afternoon. Remember? Where did she put it?
I've been away for 20 years. But never once, my dear brother, were you out of my mind. Incidentally, what are your wishes? Would you like to sleep the long sleep in solitary splendor? Or would you like to bunk up with Mr. Spinell's?
There wasn't much left. I split it with you. We both could use a good drink.
Doctor, please. Where are your manners? To the late Mortimer Brewster. The proclamation has been signed. The pens with which it was signed. The first, as usual, to the Smithsonian Institute. The second to the Council of Elders of the Rappahannock Indians, Rappahannock, New York. The rest to various eleemosynary institutions.
Damn that idiot! He goes next!
All right, Doctor. Here we go.
That first? Oh, that you're up. I told you. He told you we're all. And you say, Paul did that. Don't give me that. She knows the whole.
He's not liking the show, is he?
As you can see, not too much.
Oh, I think you better take care of it, old boy. Yeah.
How do you like that? I thought he was kidding around. He really does have to be bound and gagged.
Out of respect for the neighbors, he moans so.
Oh, which reminds me, listen, that bugle playing this time of night, it's got to stop. And that old Edsel out there. Does that belong to anybody in here?
Let them tow it away.
Well, they are towing it away. It'll cost you $35.
Let them keep it. We're busy.
Oh. Sorry.
Yeah, but... No, you can't do...
What happened so far?
All I know is that they have tied up the hero with curtain cords, and they are going to kill him.
Stinks, huh?
Stinks.
Yeah, so that's
not worth watching, eh, officer?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
All right, you'll be wearing a hood for a hat. Just remember, brother. Yes, I'll go, right? I'll be.
Now, let me tell you a real series idea. One I've been working on, a new one. Takes place in a big round house every week. If it's on every week. If it's on every month, it'll take place in a roundhouse every month. That's what we'll do. And we'll call the show The Big Round House. That's the name of the show, see? And if the show opens, the cameras and booms dolly in through this big round door. And in the middle of the room, there's this big round bed. And lying in the bed is the hero, the protagonist. I call him Johnny Caper. He's lying there in these silk pajamas, see? And we come in for a close-up, and he's eating caviar with his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
All right, no caviar. Don't worry, it doesn't have to be caviar. We'll get something else. We'll get some exotic capers. That's it, capers. Johnny Caper will be eating capers. You get the tie-in? You can get a sponsor that way easily, sure. That'll be it. That's it. So he's lying there, see, and around the bed, there are these beautiful girls, 12 beautiful girls. They all have nice long legs, you see, and they all have different colored heads. And the hair, they all have different colored hair. And then what happens is the bed starts spinning around clockwise, and the whole room spins counterclockwise the other way. So this way, because the show will be in color, we get this phantasmagoria of color flashing out and going all over to get the audience at home, see? Then all of a sudden the bed stops short and the hero goes flying off the bed. He ricochets off 2 walls and he knocks over one of the girls. Then we come in for a close-up of the girl and she says, away we go. No, she has to say away we go. That's the way the show starts each week. How's about we'll do the show each week from a test tube. We'll have a big test tube, see? And we'll have all these little microbes. It'll be the story of a microbe. The love life of microbes. That's what it'll be. And amoebas. We can have conflicts between all the different guys. Amoeba splits apart. You get the symbolism of it splitting apart back to... No, all right, forget it. I know. Here's one. I remember when I was working on the beat on Flatbush. Here's a very good one. What we'll do is the show will take place in a barn. Only instead of having the barn out in the country, we'll have it in the middle of a jungle. See? That'll be a different kind of setting. So the barn will be a regular barn. It'll be out in the middle of a jungle. We'll have all these jungle sounds and noises, and we'll have papaya juice spinning around and all that kind of stuff, and coconuts, and we'll even have monkeys flying through the trees, all that kind of, give it atmosphere. And then we come in for a close-up around this big barn, see? And there's no doors and there's no windows in the whole barn, except on the far corner, there'll be a very small little door. A very small door you can't even notice. I mean, if you were just walking by, you wouldn't notice there was anything there. But we notice because it's our show, so we'll know what it is, see? So we come in for a close-up. We come in for a close-up onto this door, and then as the opening shot, the little door opens. And we're inside, see? We've got all the cameras in there. We come in for a close-up. And coming through the little door there, we see there's little cows coming in, calves, and little elephants come in, cats, dogs, all kinds of animals come in. Only they're not animals, see? They're little people, and they're dressed in animal costumes. You see what it is? It's a gang. It's an animal gang. What they do is they rob pet stores. And it'll be like a tie-in. Finish the act. What the hell's going on around here? All of a sudden, it's kind of... Cops! The cops will be outside, but they don't know how to get in because there's no doors. There's no doors, there's no windows. What's going on around here? Hey, guess what, fellas? Mortimer Brewster. He's going to work with me on my TV series.
Do you have to tie him up to make him listen?
No. That's the way he reviews television.
Is that right? Untie him.
Well, I didn't finish telling him my idea.
Untie him anyway.
No, I'm not going to untie him.
Who's that?
Oh, I'll untie Mr. Brewster, officer, yes.
Huh? Look, adult television, a comment. See?
Hey, Santa, do you realize you've been missing for the last 3 hours? The whole force is out looking for you.
For me?
Yeah, you know how your uncle worries. I better tell him where you are. Who's that?
Oh, that's another Brewster. That's, Jonathan Brewster.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan Brewster. I know all about it. Oh, by the way, Mr. Mortimer Brewster, I got a warrant for your arrest. My arrest? Yeah. Hello, get me Mac. Mac, shh, please. Mac, tell the sergeant he can call off the big manhunt. That's right, we found him right here at the Brewster house. Don't worry, we'll hold on to him here.
So, I've been turned in, eh? All right, you got me. I suppose you cops and my stool pigeon brother will split the reward.
Reward?
Well, now I'll do some turning in. Would you like to know the truth about little Miss Abby and little Miss Martha Brewster? Oh, they look so sweet. They sound so sweet. But in actuality...
Nobody uses that tone to us about the Brewster ladies. What was he going to say?
You said you had a warrant for my arrest?
Oh, yeah, and I have an idea you know what for.
Hello, sorry to have taken so long.
Who's that?
My lawyer.
I figured somebody like you would have a lawyer in his pocket. What do you think?
No, this is Mr. Witherspoon, the guiding spirit of Happydale Sanitarium. Mr. Brewster, Mr. Witherspoon.
Oh, is this...
No. He's at the top of the stairs. It's Teddy. Is everything all set?
Well, almost. But Mr. Witherspoon wanted to get a feeling of the family, the kind of good, solid folk the Brewsters are before signing his acceptance.
Oh.
As I was saying, now I'll do some turning in. Would you like to know what's downstairs in that cellar there?
Hit him again, he's vicious.
There are 13 bodies in that cellar. And you know who put them there?
Teddy!
13 bodies in that cellar? Murdered bodies? You realize you're making a serious allegation.
Of course I do. Mass murder. And you know who the mass murderers are?
Teddy!
Oh! Everybody thinks my two aunts are these sweet, charming little old ladies. That I'm this terrible. But them, the Brewster ladies.
Now, you be careful what you say about those ladies. They're the kind of ladies that make America great.
Yeah, they're the kind of ladies that murdered twins.
Get on the telephone and give him a description of this nut.
Who is that man there?
No one we know. Mr. Witherspoon, I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, by the way, Mr. Benner, there are the commitment papers for my brother Teddy, all signed.
Oh, well, everything should be in order. Mr. Witherspoon here has been, well, an angel.
Please.
Mortimer, you sign first as next of kin. Do you have a pen?
Yeah, I think we can use one of these Rappahannock Indian pens.
I beg your pardon?
Forget it.
May I ask, why are all these police here? And what is this talk about mass murder?
Nothing at all. Mr. Witherspoon, you're going to love having Teddy at Happydale Sanitarium. Did you realize that our great-great-grandfather was once ship's doctor on the Mayflower?
Officer, has there been any violence in this house?
Oh, well, we're here about him. I got a warrant for his arrest.
Oh, will you please sign?
Not till I know what this is all about. What is the nature of the warrant, officer?
Nothing at all. Please take me away.
We've been looking for him for a long time, I can tell you that.
What is the nature
Just take me away!
I'll get you a good criminal lawyer.
Well, he's gonna need one. When we took that car of yours, that Edsel, to the garage to check it out, we found that there were 45 parking tickets against it. You have been clogging traffic in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Richmond, and Queens. Not only are you a scofflaw, you are what we call an aggravated scofflaw.
Scofflaw, is that all?
That's all.
That's just ridiculous.
Oh, goodness, what's happening?
Martha, this is Mr. Witherspoon from Happydale Sanitarium.
Oh, how do you do? Well, here you have a lovely place.
Thank you.
What happened?
Frantic. He was saying bad things about you two, and you know how we feel about you.
What did he say?
Please, Mr. Witherspoon, would you please sign those papers? Teddy wants to go to Happydale. He deserves to go to Happydale. The future happiness of my darling aunts depends on his going to Happydale.
I've never heard a more touching application. All right, I'll sign. I may give him a corner room.
Oh, thank you. There's the pen. Thank you. Teddy, come join the party.
What was he saying about us?
Teddy! Please, Mr. President.
What are all these people doing here? There are no White House tours at night. You men, go back and reconsider. You'll find the President of the United States is no mollycoddle.
Mr. President, I have some very, very good news for you, sir. Your term of office is over.
Is this March the 4th?
Practically.
Oh, yes. Well, let's see now I go on my hunting trip to Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Is he trying to move in before I've moved out?
Who's that, Teddy?
William Howard Taft.
That's not Mr. Taft. It's Mr. Witherspoon. He's to be your guide to Africa.
Bully! Just bully! I'll get my equipment together at once. Stand firm, Witherspoon. Charge!
One of the local characters.
Noisy!
Please, what happened to Jonathan?
He said there were 13 bodies buried in your cellar.
Well, there are 13 bodies.
Teddy, hurry up. You have to keep prodding him, otherwise he forgets what he's doing.
Take care of the snuffle, Witherspoon! Goodbye, Aunt Martha. Goodbye, Aunt Abby. I'm off to Africa. Isn't it wonderful?
Are you thinking of taking Teddy away tonight? Now? Is that your idea?
Yes, my darling aunts, he has to go, and right now.
We've never been separated from Teddy. If he goes, we're going too.
Yes, you have to take us with him.
Why not?
Well, it's sweet of them to want to, but we have enough trouble at Happydale without taking sane people.
Just a minute. Officer Klein, I'm terribly sorry I interrupted my aunts before when they were telling you about the 13 bodies hidden in the cellar.
Well, there are 13 bodies buried in our cellar.
Yes, we can prove it to you.
No, I don't think anyone wants to go digging up the cellar at this hour, right, Officer Klein?
That's right.
The graves are all marked. We put flowers on them every Sunday.
Mr. Witherspoon, can't you find some place for them? Well, I mean, Mr. Benner, couldn't you draw up the papers now you're here, they're here, but Mr. Witherspoon is here?
So love to be with Teddy, wouldn't we, dear?
Yes, we'll sign any papers you have.
Well, I'm afraid the doctor's gone to bed.
Oh, we have a doctor right here, someplace. Oh, Dr. Saul?
Doctor? Are you licensed in the state of New York?
Well, I spent 12 years at Bellevue.
I know several men on the staff there.
A fine body of men.
Yeah.
Doctor, while you're signing the papers, why don't you tell the nice officers here who owns the Edsel?
Jonathan, he used Mortimer's name. In some of the finest motels, the name of Mortimer Brewster is...
Sorry, Mr. Brewster, you still have to go down to the station to answer that warrant.
Why, who at this hour?
I think I recognize it. I'll get it.
Oh, Mortimer,
Hi,
you're
honey.
still up. I've been driving round and round. I've been so worried. I've come to forgive you. I guess there's some craziness in my family, too.
That still doesn't solve our problems, honey.
Oh, are you giving a party?
It's difficult to explain.
Now, I must go.
Oh, that must be the maker, Jonathan Brewster. Hello? Yeah, Klein here. Yeah, that's right, over 6 feet tall, yeah. What's that? Does your brother have a wart on his right shoulder?
He has a wart on everything.
Yeah, that's right. What do you know? He escaped from prison in Indiana for the criminal insane. An accomplice? Yeah. 5 foot 4, 140 pounds. Brown eyes. Poses as a doctor. Yeah, I got it. Oh, so long, Doc. All right, let's get the show on the road.
13 bodies in the cellar. Come on. All right.
Goodbye, Mortimer. Goodbye, Aunt. It has not been a good visit, but I'll be back. Keep the window seat open.
We won't be here. We're going to Happydale with Teddy.
Oh, well, in that case, I have a suggestion to make. Why don't you turn this place over to the church down the street? After all, it should be part of a cemetery.
Get him out of here.
Mortimer, if you'll sign now as next of kin,
Yes.
everything will be all right. Well, they allow dinner guests at Happydale. I hope you'll remember me some Thursday for the hot buffet.
Indeed we will.
We certainly will, and thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Benner.
Mortimer. Mortimer, we're worried about something.
Oh, I've seen pictures of Happydale. You'll love it.
No, we're very pleased about everything there, but we don't want anything to go wrong.
Will they investigate those signatures?
I don't think they'll look up Dr. Salk, especially Dr. Herman Salk.
No, not his, dear. Yours.
You see, you signed as next of kin.
Well?
Oh, dear. There's something that we never wanted you to know, but, you're a man now, and you should know. You see, dear, you're not really a Brewster.
Say that again?
Your mother came to us as a cook.
A dear girl.
And you were born, well, very soon afterwards.
A dear, friendly girl.
And we took you in because we loved you.
Not really a Brewster?
Oh, please, don't feel badly about it, dear.
Badly? Badly? Honey, did you hear that? Did you hear that? We can get married. I'm a bastard.
Sorry, Mr. Brewster, we're waiting.
Oh, yes, officer, be right there. Aunt Abby, Aunt Martha, I love you. Get me right back.
Bye-bye. Oh, I'm so looking forward to going.
So the neighborhood here has changed so much.
Beads to trade with the natives. Oh, dear, I hope he isn't going to be noisy. We like our quiet at Happydale.
We'll take care of Teddy. What kind of clothes should we bring with us?
Be sure to pack an evening dress or two. We may be quiet, but oh, we do enjoy our weekly dinner dances.
We? Does your family live with you?
I have no family.
Oh. I suppose in a way, we'll be your family.
I'm afraid it isn't that way. As executive head of the institution, I must keep quite aloof. Quite aloof.
That must make it very lonely for you.
It does, but my duty is my duty. Sorry.
How long have you had that nasty cough?
Ooh, 30 years.
There's a little bit of elderberry wine left here. It would be a shame to waste it.
It's guaranteed to stop a cough.
I'm not a drinker. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's not really drinking a little homemade wine made with organically grown elderberries.
Oh, really? Organically grown? You know, once, a great many years ago, I drank some elderberry wine with a certain young lady.
Oh, see if it still tastes the same.
Well, I thought I'd had my last glass of elderberry wine.
No. Here it is.